Yo, yo, yo! What's up, everybody? It's back for episode 3 of the Groove Session Show podcast with me, Jack.
And me, Ryman. How's it going?
Yeah. Not too bad, man. Yeah, not too bad. Yeah, just, getting on with life, chilling during all this lockdown malarkey and stuff, But yeah, no, so we wanted to talk to you today on this podcast a little bit about following on from episode 2. Or 2.5, I think it was. Is it 2.5? I can't
yeah, it was 2.5
yeah,
to be
2.5
fair.
to be fair, yeah.
Yeah.
We kind of did a 2-parter just to entertain you a little bit. But yeah, this is following on from that, talking about our experiences and our influence in growing up with music. And this is more kind of now touching upon the kind of the starting out of our actual where we started to push our careers and how that kind of where it built from. And I think, we're going to talk a little bit about, our studies, where we kind of started developing kind of our musicianship and where we met people that we, still talk to today, and some that we see around the circuit, if you want to call it, in the session world / music world. But yeah, now we're just going to talk a little bit about that. And I don't know. I think we should start with you, Roman. I think, to be honest with you, we start with me all the time. I think it's just a thing. But I think I think we should start with you this time.
I'm happy to jump in. No problem.
Yeah, no. So I suppose. Oh,
sorry. You ask me a question.
Yeah, I'll ask you a question. I'll ask you a question because I think it's probably best if I ask you a question.
Yeah, lay it up and I'll try and put it.
So, for you, where did it following on from all your influences and how you grew up on music and all that kind of talk about your first time playing the sort of the down the pub with the the bands and doing the live music nights and stuff like that and all the touring, what would you say where would you say your kind of studies came into that? Did you go and study before you kind of
did I was lucky enough to do a year at BIMM, Brighton BIMM, which is the original BIMM.
Oh, yeah.
Which was awesome. But I mean, just before that, and it's worth mentioning, I think as any kind of musician, you need to be self-aware enough to know whether it's is it a passion? Is it a hobby? Is it something more than that? Is it, where do you stand with it? I was lucky enough to know how I felt when I was quite young, 14, 15, and I was I want to make this my career. I already knew it didn't take long for me to be I want to try and pursue this. And that literally, mate, that was coming from a place of I love it so much. I would love to do it every day. And the only way to do it every day is to turn it into a professional career. So I think for anyone out there is ask yourself the question, do you want to do it all the time? Not just on weekends down the pub. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
And the natural stepping stone for that was for me was when I get out of school, I'm going to go and study music somewhere. So I ended up going to BIMM. But how about you? You went to BIMM, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to London BIMM. Me, I studied. I think I studied creative musicianship as my course. I think, but it's specialized in drumming. So there was each basically, I should say, instrument had a creative musicianship course, or you had a I can't remember the other one now, but
was that the what I call the performing one?
Yeah, it's kind of performance based. So it's you get graded and marked on your performance base within your instrument and playing with other people. You don't and then the great thing about doing that is at the end of every term you get a chance to throughout the term you make friends, you make other musician friends, you make bands, and then you kind of you either do their own material or your own material if you're a band or a solo act, and you have a chance to audition to go on and do an end of term showcase.
I know.
Yeah, which is
often kind of in a venue, isn't it?
Which is kind of cool because then it gives you an experience of playing in a venue, even if you've never played one before. and like you're just starting to study, but you've never played a live gig before, you get the opportunity, which is a great thing about doing something like that, is you get that those possibilities given to you of being able to perform in, you know, some renowned venues around London, but sometimes just really cool places, great, you know. And yeah, I think it's great. I think it's a great sort of thing. But yeah, I studied creative musicianship, obviously specializing in drums.
Did you do a year, 2 years, 3 years?
I did a diploma. I started on a diploma, and I did that was a 2 years in 1 year. So I did 1 year. I did a 2-year course in 1 year, basically. So it's quite intense, quite a lot.
Yeah, like what, 5 days a week?
Yeah, pretty much, like Monday to Friday, basically. Yeah,
that's what I went for.
But yeah, it wasn't too bad. It was all right, and yeah, like I just kind of, yeah, I think it was probably the best year of my life, I suppose, because I made a load.
Really, you enjoyed it that much?
Well, yeah, I enjoyed it quite a lot because like it was new. Everything was new to me, you know, traveling into town for like, you know, on my own every day for the first time, you know, just kind of being able to have a bit of freedom and make new friends and hang out and talk music, talk drums, talk everything, you know what I mean? And I think it was quite great. It's really worth it to go and do something like that, you know, even if it's just for a year, it doesn't matter. It's a great, you know, it's a great, like, fortunate enough for me, I didn't have to move out home, like, you know, because it wasn't far for me to commute to get there. So, you know, I think there's supposedly there's a different two different aspects, you know, like living with musicians and then just like being with them all day, you know. So it's the two different things. But I had the great kind of like, I had the great kind of thing of just being able to just, I suppose, meet those new people, and it was a great time, great experience. And then I went on to do the 3 years. Then I went on.
You did do that?
Yeah, I went on to do a degree, but people are going to probably laugh at me, like I'm joking around me with this, but
I will.
Yeah, you will definitely. Now I went on to do a degree after I did diploma, thinking that it would be like what I thought, like similar to the diploma. And then I did my first year, and just it was nothing like what the diploma was like, you know. And I'm not saying that. I'm not saying like, oh, because there's no fun, you know what I mean? Like there was still like you still got to hang with people and stuff and do gigs and end of term showcases.
But not the same as the diploma.
It weren't the same kind of level of work. Like I kind of enjoyed the diploma because it was more performance based. You got to play every day, at least once a day. Yeah, there was a bit of theory, but it wasn't a lot, you know. You got to learn about the music industry in one lesson. And it was just kind of
the balance was spot on, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it was just a bit of everything. You know what I mean? And it was good because you learned new things like every week, every day, you know, kind of thing. But I got into the first year of the degree, and just, oh man, the degree was nothing like what the diploma was like. It was just more like theory based. Yeah. And there was no actual, like, I didn't get that strong performance element. And I was there to learn that. And I understand theory. And don't get me wrong, whoever's listening, and if you're starting out and you're thinking, oh, nah, he's made it sound boring. No, I'm not making it. I'm not saying don't do that. I'm not saying don't go and do a degree. You know, I'm just saying that for me, like I've said in the last episode, I'm not academic. Okay, so no, but I'm not academic. So theory is not. It's not my interest. Cool. It's not. I don't process written stuff and essays and stuff like that very well. Do you know what I mean? I like to practical things. I like to do performance.
Yeah, you're a practical man. You're there to perform.
Exactly. Yeah. So,
and that's what I'm saying. I said about self-awareness.
Yeah.
Like literally just now, it's the same with you. You were self enough to know that it wasn't for you. It's simple as that.
Basically, yeah. It was just like you just got to. I think I got to a point where the stress of the workload of theory took over my performance and took over my kind of like my enjoyment of the being there. So it ruined the passion. It ruined the passion for me, and I was like, I can't carry on another 2 years of this studying and just like, you know. And a lot of people that did do the full 3 years and came out with a degree, like, you know, round of applause, well done to you, kind of thing. You know, I hope you got a lot from it, but you know, I don't. You might disagree. I don't see the music industry like that. I don't see it like theory. I see it like performance. You know, it's
I
it's all
agree with
about
you.
that. So
100%.
I don't get me wrong, you do need to know about the industry, you know, and the lessons you take there, like industry studies, you know, all of that. It's relevant, you know. It's all stuff going on in the industry. It's all business. It's all that's good stuff to learn. It's good to know when you're walking into like your first sort of session work or your first music environment, to know stuff. But
yeah,
I feel like you can learn that also through doing it all the time, practically.
absolutely.
You know, so I don't
Yeah.
believe that. I don't feel like you need to do studies to know that stuff. But a lot of people, you know, viewers will disagree, and I think you might disagree briefly. But I think like having a degree under your name and or a diploma under your name is just a thing you can say. Oh, I've done a degree in music. Oh, cool,
Yeah.
cool. Good for you. But have
but
you had experience?
Absolutely, the long and short of it for me is like, short of being like a doctor, like a medical worker or a lawyer or anything like that, a piece of paper doesn't really get you the job. You know, like you could say I'm grade 8 in piano, but like they don't give a fuck.
But you aren't, though, are you?
to be no, I'm not. I'm grade 7. No. But you get you get the drift. It's
I
like,
get you. Yeah.
I do agree with you. It doesn't really, like, there's nothing bad about it if you're, you know, if you got these accolades. But yeah, I'm with you on that. And what I would say about going into sort of musical education is don't put all your eggs in one basket and think you're going to come out and be like the biggest session player in the world. Like,
no.
I mean, I was told, like, I remember going for my like sort of like when they were pitching the course to us.
Yeah.
I can't remember what they call it.
Like an induction day.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah.
And they literally sold it like, we're gonna get you session work, like literally, and everyone's thinking, oh, we're gonna come out of this with work.
But that's what they said. That's what they told me. And when they told me that, I was like, yeah. I was like, that's what I'm talking about. I was like,
As if it was that simple.
Yeah, I was like, this is easy. I was like, I'm just walking straight through the door, and I'm gonna be playing with bloody I don't know, Jessie J next year. Do you know what I mean? Or something like that. But like, wicked, man. Or something, you know what I mean? Just to put a name on the plate, you know what I mean? But
on the CV,
yeah. But the thing is like, I'll be brutally honest with you. Did that happen? No. Do you know what I mean? Like, you don't get it handed to you. Don't get handed on a plate. They make it. The reason they do it, it's all promotion. You know, it's like you say, like, it's like marketing. You know what I mean? Yeah. Come and do this because we're gonna get you this. It's like, but do you? No, you don't. It's, you know, and I'm being truthful with you viewers, and I'm being truthful with you, know, Roman, anyway. But you know, you listeners, it ain't. They're not going to do that for you, because it's not you just got to go there and just perform and like not do any work. Do you know what I mean? Like, you got to put the effort in. You got to put. They would help you, and I'm not saying they wouldn't. They would help you if they can see that you have a lot of determination and you put yourself out and you push yourself. Do you know what I mean?
They might be a small factor in your progression.
Yeah,
but
they might go. They might go, oh, this guy's like, you know, like, oh, this guy's really good, or this guy's got like really good, like, you know, potential to do. You know, I might, and the teachers at BIMM, and I'm sure the same with you, Roman, they are musicians, so they're in the industry all the time, so they know people. So if they saw that you had potential for something, they might pass your name on. And what, mate? No, not gonna lie, happy days. Like, that's good work for you, and you're starting to put your name on the table. Do you know what I mean? But it don't happen. And that's how you network. But don't happen like that all the time. And I think a lot of people walk into those things thinking, yeah, I'm that's it. I've got a 2-year course in 1 year, diploma, and I'm going to walk out and I'm going to be playing Reading Festival by the end of it. It's like, okay,
exactly.
Do you know what I mean?
Think again. I was lucky enough to have friends that had done the course I'd done before me.
Yeah.
So I knew in my mind that it wasn't going to happen, but a lot of people that were on my course were like really excited about like this big like end goal of like, but we're going to be playing with Bruno Mars in like 6 months.
Yeah. Okay. Dream on.
No chance.
You know what I mean? But that's just like, I find that kind of
something you touched on there though, and I'd just like to jump on that quick. You said about the teachers. One of my favourite things about going to what I'd regard as quite a high level college or institute, the teachers were awesome because they were the real deal. You know, they were either ex-session musicians or session musicians, and just being with them, not even like them teaching you playing, but just hearing their stories and just bouncing off them, and like that was one of the biggest take homes for me. So
like that same for me. Like I was very fortunate enough to have like some quality teachers, like, you know, not just drumming teachers, like all across the board. Like I'm talking names, like like I had some like but like you say proper names, but like not many people would know them. But like until like you meet, but like I know them, and then I started getting to know them, and then I started like kind of admiring the way they taught me and what their knowledge of things. So I started looking them like kind of, not in a weird way, but looking up like my teachers to see their experience they've had. Like, because you sometimes on the websites for like places like this, they give you a little bit of a background on each teacher. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I had that.
But I've had like I don't like, now this is like, again, this is something for you, Roman. This is not so much for me. Like, I don't know why, but this is more for you because you might actually know who I'm talking about. But I had a teacher in one of my lessons, and this lesson was just drummers in the room, okay? But the teacher was a bass player.
Really?
Yeah.
So you could jam with him.
So you jam jam with her.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm gonna throw a name at you. If you know, again, I'm doing this thing to you where I throw names at you and like you should know. But like no. But like you might know, you might have heard the name and stuff like that. But my teacher, her name is Yolanda Adams.
Oh yeah, I do know her.
Yeah,
I do know who you're talking about.
Yeah, she plays for Hans Zimmer. She's a bass player for Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
and she was
the orchestral stuff.
Yeah, and she was one of my teachers, and she was the nicest, lady in the world. Honestly, like I learned so much from her, and then going away and watching her play live with Hans Zimmer, like on old videos and like tours that she'd done with me. Man, like to actually like have the privilege of just getting up and playing a song that I was going to play next week on a stage in front of a couple of classmates and different like musicians just for fun. She's teaching me to jam and lock in with the bass. And I'm like, at first I'm like, who the hell are you? Like, no, like, what are you telling me to do?
But once you get the context, you're like, whoa.
And you know who she is, man. I'm telling you, one day I walked out there and I was like, she's annoying, man. Like she's getting on my tits a little bit. So I mean, she's telling me this and telling me that, you know, like a little cocky fucking 17-year-old. So I mean, yeah, literally, I was like, I've had it up to here, but no, I'm kidding. I love you, Yolanda. Sorry, but yeah, literally, like I'm walking out and then I've gone, you know what? I'm gonna look her up. I'm gonna see what she's done. Yeah. And mate, the next day I walked in and my face was like,
you're gobsmacked.
I was just mate, literally my jaw dropped. I just couldn't stop looking at her. I was going, man. I was like, and a lot of people listening who aren't musicians might be thinking, really? Like, mate, I don't care if it's a singer. I don't care if it's a guitarist, bass player, even if drummer. But if you've played with someone like that, and no offense, you might think this is weird, but I actually look up to Hans Zimmer.
Oh, I do. I'm a big fan.
Big fan. Yeah. And I actually look up to him and his creative process and his mind. Honestly, I do.
Oh, amazing song.
Oh, man. I was just like, wow.
Or composer.
That's a privilege in itself. And I'm happy as a player to actually have said, like, yes, okay, it wasn't on a big stage. Yes, okay, it wasn't like in an environment I thought it would be. But mate, I was just in a classroom with a couple of other drummers learning the same as me, playing with Hans Zimmer's bass player.
The weirdest thing about it is like Hans Zimmer's obviously selected her.
Yeah.
And you're playing with her. So it's like you're in the presence of like greatness. Do you know what I mean?
Basically, you're like, in terms of, in my mind, she is musician royalty because she's playing with someone that likes Hans Zimmer and she's played on countless like movie soundtracks and stuff. That's just big to me. That's a big bloody deal.
Yeah.
Like,
I'll tell you what, not to be crude, but bank account must be healthy. There's
Yeah,
a lot of royalties in that.
Yeah, probably. But like, man, I was just like, that for me, like, and whoever's listening, like, you might take something from that, but that in itself, like, one thing you should do if you go and you want to go and study music and you want to, like, you know, really, really go forward with it, take your time to learn who's teaching you, like your teachers. Take your time to research who's, because I'm telling you now,
work the background out.
Yeah, you just
100.
don't know who's teaching you and on it, or who they've worked with, and they could be people that you really look up to. And, you know, straight away, then you start just, every lesson is just like, you know, you walk away feeling happy and like you've learned something because you've taken it from somebody that's professional and knows what they're talking about. And I think that's where I get a lot of my, I suppose a lot of my drive, a lot of my kind of like ambition and like, is being able to have had the pleasure and still get the pleasure sometimes of being in the same room and working with people that have done it for ages, you know, and have really worked their socks off to get some great gigs.
Yeah,
It's unreal, man. It honestly, it makes you feel like on top of the
I'm,
world. Do you know what I mean?
it
But
does.
I'm a no one.
It
I'm a
does.
nobody, and I'm not. I'm happy to say that because I am a nobody. Do you know what I mean? I'm just somebody trying to make my path and my journey through the music industry, you know, and hopefully someday I will. But the problem is like having the chance to do that, and you know yourself, it's amazing, absolutely amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. And the chances of hitting the heights they hit is slim, and you're always going to look up to them until you get there.
Did you have a teacher? Did you have a
I,
teacher like someone like?
I had a number of teachers, and they'd all achieved incredible things. And I remember they wouldn't be big names like to me as a 17-year-old, but I would,
Yeah,
just like you did, I would research them
yeah.
and I would go back and, like, for example, a big name in the bass world, guy called Guy Pratt.
I think
Guy
I've heard
Pratt, I
that. I
don't,
think I've heard that name.
and he's played for like nearly everyone. Like he played on like some Michael Jackson tracks and Madonna
Whoa,
tracks and that. And
that's
I'm a
big.
bit. He's honestly
That's
big player.
big, man.
And I had like literally just one lesson with him. He came in,
Wow.
and I knew him. And I'd grown up like learning stuff of his YouTube and what have you. But when I went back through his like discography, his credits
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah, yeah.
80s, particularly the 80s, I was like, whoa.
This
And it,
guy. This
yeah,
guy.
you feel like you're going to take on some of the magic. Like
Yeah, that's true.
you just feel it, and it's
You do
huge.
get
And
that. You do get that. You do get that quite a lot when you work because you get the chance to do something like that, or even meet someone that you not feel like you get that you take something. You might not get. You might not even get a word spoken to you, but even being in the same room as someone like that, you know, you would just be
it
like,
inspires you, doesn't
man,
it?
that's just. I want to be in his footsteps one day. I mean, I
Yeah.
want to like, you know.
And more importantly to the point, and if you are thinking of going to get educated at BIMM
Yeah,
or
doesn't matter
yeah,
where you go.
ACM or the,
Yeah,
yeah, it doesn't matter, does it?
ICMP, yeah, or
Um,
RCM, Royal College of Music is a good one.
that's a good one, yeah. But if
Yeah,
you are thinking of that, like all these teachers, yes, they've like achieved great things, but they're all lovely people and they're so
big
down
time,
to earth,
big
and
time.
that makes it even better.
Yeah,
Like
and I think if you
they're
show
just
an
like you and me.
appreciation, I think if you show an appreciation in there, in what they've done and what they do, um, I
They
think
love
it,
it.
yeah, I think they love it. So it kind of helps you to stand out, kind of helps them like look at you and really take a keen eye to kind of watching your progression through the different lessons you do. You know, I think that's the kind of a cool thing as well, is being having like a, you might not know it, but they do really like have a keep an eye on you because they see that you've got potential, you know. So it's kind of
Yeah,
a really cool thing to take from that.
100%.
Yeah, big
And
time.
going back to like a mindset thing, I know like with me, just before I was going, I
Mm.
already had it in my mind of like what I wanted to get out of the course, if you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Some people go because they think it's the done thing. They're like, I'm just gonna go and
Mm.
but I knew in my head, like if I can get this out of it and get that, I'm happy.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
all I wanted to do was like network, meet some people, have fun,
yeah,
and
yeah.
just sort of and kind of just become a bit more well-rounded. Like I
Mm,
wasn't even bothered if I came out the same player.
mm,
Like if I'd if I had a conversation and someone sort of inspired me and gave me an idea of like how to network an area better or just little things. Like I
mm.
wouldn't I wouldn't go there thinking like this is it.
Oh
You know
yeah,
what I mean?
no, of course
I
not.
would go. I would go into it and think anything I can get out of this is going to be big.
Mate, big
And
time.
and just being around teachers of that level is
Mm.
like you can't do that anywhere else. If you went to like I've got some local colleges near me.
Yeah.
The teachers, you know, they're good teachers, but they're not
They're
the
not.
teachers we're talking about.
Yeah, definitely. I know.
They're
I
not.
get what you mean.
So that is huge.
Yeah,
Did you have to pay for your course?
yeah,
I had to pay as well.
yeah.
It's worth the money though. I think mine
I
was,
definitely think so. Yeah.
yeah, it was, no, it's a lot of money to outlay, or I think it was just over
I
1,000
suppose,
for
but
mine, but for the year,
yeah, I suppose everybody's like,
a lot of people I know managed to get it on like some sort of grant, but
yeah, and then, but then
if you
like you
do have
get
to
the
pay for
grant,
it, do it.
yeah, but then you get that grant from the industry as like, not the industry, the government as well, like for like essentials and stuff, you know, like books and stuff like that. You know, you get like, I can't remember. I was getting like,
Is
I think
that
I
for
was
like
getting,
books and drugs and alcohol
yeah,
and
and partying. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Basically living a life of Motley Crue in
Yeah.
school. Yeah, no, I think I got like £1,000 a month, or like every 3 months, or something like that.
Yeah, so I didn't
Yeah,
even apply for that. Did you go
yeah.
proper? Did you go Ozzy Osbourne? Did you?
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, of course. Yeah, you know, like every time, every time. I
knew
was going out
knew it.
London. I was going out London like every night, man. I was on a boozy. Chinatown was my place. Do you know what I mean? I was just there every time. I was just there all the time. Noodles, beer, everything. It was great. No,
That's crazy.
nah. I actually like kind of. Like I said earlier, I was fortunate enough to not live out of home, so I didn't have rent to pay or anything like that in like a flat or anything like that. So
So
I got
good.
like £1,000 a month on top of what I was earning through through work,
That's
and
awesome.
I was
Wish
spending
I'd
it. I
done
was
that.
spending it on drum stuff. I was
Yeah,
just spending,
invest
like,
it into the
yeah, like
equipment.
I brought all my cymbals myself, and I brought like, you know, I bought all my mics, my cameras, my lights, like everything I bought myself. You know, a few things here and there, maybe like as presents and stuff for birthdays and Christmases, but I bought everything. A majority of my stuff when I first started out, like doing the content on my stuff, I bought using the grant that I got from the government, because like
Your setups paper by
yeah,
the government.
yeah, basically, I just thought, why not? Like, you know, I don't have to pay rent. I don't have to buy. All I've got to buy is my lunch and pay for my travel, which is fine. That's not a
Yeah,
lot. And like,
no.
you know, I was fortunate enough to have worked at like a music shop for a little while. So like the gear was kind of there. So it was kind of like, oh well, I've got this spare money laying around that I don't have to spend. So why don't I spend it on gear that's going to like improve the quality of my sound or the playing, you know, stuff like that. So it was kind of
Yeah.
a lucky thing for me. So if you do benefit from living at home whilst going, then definitely use your allowance, if
Capitalize on
yeah,
that.
and use it to invest in what you're doing, because I did. And yeah, I'm still doing it now, even though I don't get that anymore. I'm still doing it, and I think it's worth it, because you might think, oh, but it's so expensive for gear and stuff like that. Man, stuff it. Because as soon as you
Yeah.
get it, it's going to improve you somehow, and it's going to make something you do better, and it's just that's going to make you happy. I mean,
Yeah.
that's helped you to somehow, in some way, improve something that you do, and I think I get quite a good kick out of that, because then I
It's
think, like,
fuel to the fire, isn't it? As well, it just keeps
basically,
it
yeah,
burning.
just keeps,
It
yeah,
does.
basically,
And good stuff lasts forever. You know, like my
oh
bass,
mate,
like,
yeah,
I've had my bass for like 10 years and it's just cruising.
yeah,
I'll have it in 40 years probably.
yeah, I've had my drum kit for the last like 7-8 years. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's so worth it.
and it's like it's seen the mate, it's seen
It's been worked hard.
yeah, it's seen some really tough like shows and stuff where I've like dropped it down some stairs in a flight case or something, and you think, oh no, I've ruined it. Then you open it and it's still in wicked condition.
And it's fine,
Like,
yeah.
yeah, it's
Love
perfect,
that.
man. Like I take quite a lot of pride in like that kind of thing. So, you know, always updating and maintaining the quality of my gear, because well, otherwise you don't want to like just let it kind of, like anything, you don't want it to let
Don't
it
want to stagnate. No,
yeah, you don't
it's
want it to
important.
yeah, you don't want it to what's the word, deteriorate from like just leaving it and going, don't worry about it. I ain't got the money to pay for something like that. Like leave it.
Changing skins and
like it just doesn't help you. Do you know what I mean? It make it, everything in a way in some elemental form. It will improve what you're doing. You know what I mean? And you'll see it as you go along. It's pretty cool thing. Pretty cool thing.
I've got you.
Yeah.
I've got something I want to touch on. It'd be interesting to get your opinion on it. We were talking about the courses, and you can do a year, 2 years, 3 years, all that.
Yeah.
I knew I was going to do the year because in my mind it was like I need to get that done and then get out there and start doing it for real.
I got you.
And if you're thinking of going into BIMM or somewhere else, that's something to consider. Is like, if I knew a lot of people that went on to do the 3-year what do you call it, the degree, and it fine, but question yourself why you're doing it. Like, for me, if you're serious about getting into the session world, the quicker you can get the education out the way and move on to actually networking in the real world, because if you need the extra 3 years to get better, do it. But if you feel after the first year that you like, I can do this, do it. Don't waste 3 more years into your 20s or whatever
don't add that extra debt in your life to pay off for the rest of your life just because you're having fun with going out drinking and partying all the time. It ain't,
I was going to say, because that's a big part of it.
Yeah, but that's the thing, like uni. I think that's the only reason why people go uni is just because they want to. It's all the party and the clubbing and the drinking and the hanging out with your mates. It's like, but like,
I think that's where I'm boring, Jack, because I'm just very focused. Like I'm in and I'm out.
I did it. I must admit, I did it. Like,
everyone does it.
Everyone done it, but I got to a point when I was like, I'm going to sound really utterly boring right now, but I got to I pretty much partied well hard. As soon as I turned 18, probably the whole year until I turned 19, I literally partied so hard. Like, I bled myself dry of money. I was like getting stupid, like everything like that. And then I think I got 19. Yeah, I got 19. Got to 19, and I was just a bit like, I need to start screwing my head. Yeah, I've been there, done that. I need to screw my head on a little bit and refocus on setting goals and making a career path for myself, and not just, I've got the rest of my life to go out and drink and party and have fun. Do you know what I mean? Like, but I think for me, like, I might not always focus on what's important. Yeah, I might not always seem like it, but I am quite, I'm very interested and very focused and very driven to do my best. I'm quite a good person I'm quite a positive person in the respects of like helping other people, bigging up other people, and telling them and like if they get to a point in their what they do, it doesn't have to be music, it could be anything. Like, I get to a point where people go, it's not for me anymore. Like, I just want to but that it's something they really love, but there's something that's getting them kind of taking them away from what they. Yeah, it's like, look, like, whatever it is, you've got the rest of your life to do it. Do you know what I mean? You're still young, got the rest of your life, You really need to put all your energy and all your time and focus into marketing yourself, doing something for yourself. Because there was this thing what one person said to me once. It was a really good quote someone said to me. I'll have to get it up. I'll have to kind of remember it in a way, but it was something like, when you're in your 20s, you should be partying. When you're in your, I think it's when you're in your, no, sorry, that was it.
Oh yeah,
it was like, when you're in your teens, you should be partying. When you're in your 20s, you should be grafting. When you're in your 30s, you'll be laughing. Do you know what I mean? So I find that quite like, yeah, they've got a point there. Do you know what I mean? I've done my teens, I've done my partying. Now I'm grafting. Do you know what I mean? And then by I'm 30, come 30, I should have set myself up for really good on a path and a career. Not saying that that will happen. I could be working for the rest of my life to make something. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
it doesn't always.
might be 40.
Yeah,
But
but at least you
you'd
get
think
to
after 10 years you'd be in a good place.
but at least you get to that point where you've put that effort in enough to know that you're making good money, you're living well, you've got, you're supported in a good financial state and a positive work environment and space. And that's when you can sit there and kind of go, yeah, like I've done a good job. Like I've worked my ass off for something. You know what I mean?
Now
I've
I'm
not
enjoying the
wasted my
fruits of my
life.
labours.
Exactly. I've not wasted my life splashing my cash on shit and drinking and like partying and doing ridiculous things that you will regret in however many years' time. Not saying to not have fun, obviously, but don't do drugs, kids. No, but like, you know what I'm saying? Not have fun.
That's the thing though. The music for me is the fun.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I love doing. So
creating content and like, you get your days, I'm sure you understand as well. You get your days, you just don't feel like doing something. You don't feel like creating a content. You don't feel like doing.
All humans have days where they lose motivation.
Exactly, but you can't let it just defeat you just from one thing. You know what I mean? You got to just keep going and keep
push through and keep that positive momentum going, because a good momentum is lethal. It will just go and go like a train, but bad momentum is the same. It's hard to stop.
Mate,
so
honestly, it is. You just go into a downward spiral, don't you? Like if you just think negatively.
To just always push through, because especially with content stuff, when you're at home, you're not on stage, there's no audience. It's very hard. Sometimes it is hard to motivate yourself to.
I actually find that and then you might agree, like just turn on that point that you said. I actually find that when I perform in front of an audience, I'm a bit more confident. But if I perform in front of a camera, that's when I get nervous.
I totally agree. Exactly the same.
It's weird. Like you'd think you'd ever be around, it's only a camera, no one's looking at me, what does it matter? Do you know what I mean? Like, and then when you're on stage, oh my God, like hundreds or whatever people are looking at me, and like, oh my God, if I make actually, I'm more like that when I'm recording.
Yeah, same. I got a bit of a reputation as a young player from sort of older musicians that knew me locally and stuff.
Yeah.
And they would always say like, why are you so good under pressure? And it was because like when I played live, I was just note for note, because I use the pressure in a positive way, like the audience. But you put a camera in front of me and the enjoyment's not there, and I just kind of
I think that's because you're conscious of what you're doing more.
Yeah, because it's like, you're in a room at home and there's no vibe. I'm very much like, I like to play off the vibe in the room.
Yeah, I get you.
And don't get me, I do enjoy doing the content we do, but it's not definitely as enjoyable.
Obviously.
It is enjoyable, but it's harder to vibe. To a camera. So
until you get like a wicked banger where you're like locked in, like hard groove, like, and you're just like, whoa. That's when you like know that's when it's like 10 times more fun. That's when you feel like you're like playing a session.
Absolutely. Talking of bangers, we need to drop it in. We just released another groove sessions, haven't we?
We have indeed. We have.
I've
been getting some good comments on that, like people are really
I saw them.
Like people getting some really good, like, see, again, when you get stuff like that, you can get people like positive vibes, like, people just saying like, oh, I don't know, something sounds good or something looks good, or this is a wicked song, like you guys had like nailed it, something like that. That's what makes you want to go and do more. That's what makes you want to create like that's what makes you want to do the next one better. Do you know what I mean? And like I think it's great when people like engage. Like when people engage with you and like say, oh, you're doing such a good job, or oh man, that, like, I don't know, mate, when you did that slide on the bass, like that's wicked. Or like when you're like, oh man, that snare sounds wicked, man. Like, where, that kind of thing. It's just, I don't know. I think it
inspires you. It's infectious. That is.
Oh, mate,
it really is.
And that's what I'm saying. Like when people engage, when people engage with this, like, because we're chatting to you, like you might not think we're getting like a sort of an infectious thing from it, but having people comment and like and enjoy what we're doing and what we're talking to you about, mate, that's just as infectious. Do you know what I mean? Because it makes you want to come back on and do it again and chat again. And do more.
Such a win. Such a win.
Literally,
if you know people enjoying it.
Yeah, and just creating content is just, yeah, it's just one of those things that like I said earlier, you'll have those days where it doesn't go how you planned. But then those days where you just nail it and you're like, wow, like that is good.
Yeah.
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Agreed.
and that's how me and Roman act all the time when we do our groove sessions. He'll literally he'll record his bass and then he'll send it to me and I'll be like, right, I'm gonna like lay some naughty groove or something down to this. You know what I mean? Because he's done some really nice like stuff on the bass, like to really give it like, you know, it's
I do always get a
groove.
nice comment from Jack, and then when he says his, I'm like, fuck, this is
and
dirty.
And I'm like, I get it, and I'm like, yeah, man, I love that. That sounds like wicked. Like I can really vibe with that, and like, I don't know. I think it's because I'm so used to having toured with you and played with you, and like know how you play and your creative process. I think, I don't know. I think like I actually like it when you send me a song, you on bass on a song. I like it because I know that it's gonna. I know that as soon as it drops into that like Google Drive box and I press play, there's some utter filth coming out of like the playing. I'm telling you, I'm just watching that
too
go.
kind.
Yeah,
too kind.
yeah, I'm definitely gonna vibe to this tomorrow because before that, without having that, I'm like, not really vibing with the song, not really feeling it.
Yeah.
Like, don't really feel it. But when you add something to it,
it helps when there's another musician on.
Oh my god, man! When
and
you
especially
add
a friend, especially
big
someone
time,
you respect.
big time. When when it's a player you respect, and you know they're gonna bring the fire. That's what I'm saying. You know they're gonna bring that fire. Then I'm telling you, like, it just when you're then recording, it kind of takes that pressure off of, man. No matter even if I make one slight mistake, I'm actually having fun doing this because I'm recording.
And it's still going to sound sick.
Yeah, it's still going to make some like fun groove or something like that. Do you know what I mean? And it just keeps you wanting to make more and more. But yeah, you should definitely go and check out that groove sessions. It's what was it again? The Weekend.
So it's the Weekend's I think third single off his latest album, After Hours. It's the album's a personal favorite of mine.
Yeah, In Your Eyes.
Really enjoyed it.
It's called, isn't it? In Your Eyes. Yeah, mate. Yeah. Proper banger. Like I was like, wow. I was like, I'm grooving with this song. And as soon as Roman sent the bass, I was like, whoa. I was like, I'm gonna lock into that. I was like,
the great thing about it is it's a sort of contemporary modern pop song, but it's it's got some sax on it, it's got some 80s like filth in it.
Yeah, definitely intro's got that 80s.
Mad for that fucking vibe.
Mate, I love a good old 80s synth, man. I tell you. Don't know what it is. Do you remember? I'll tell you that this is for the viewer's pleasure here, because this is a bit of comedy between me and Roman. But when me and Roman were touring, Roman showed me this band called The Midnight. Okay, and if you haven't heard of The Midnight and you haven't listened to any of the Midnight, we actually did a groove sessions of one of their songs a little while back, so go check that out.
Oh yeah,
I think it was
a good one.
I think it was episode 7 or episode 8. I can't remember. Just go back on our old ones and you'll have a look. But
7 or 8, definitely.
Yeah, it was by The Midnight. And when we were touring and we were like, traveling on the road and stuff, we would listen to this band in the car. And I don't know what it is. I think just because we me and you are buddies and we get on really well. As soon as like one of their songs would come on, we just like look at each other and go, "This is filth. This is absolute filth." Like this song it's like excuse my French, but it's my new shit. You know what I mean? Like, this is my new shit. Like it just comes in hard with that 80s synth, and you're like, "Fuck, that is filth."
No and joke. Then, when you when you hear a Midnight like synth or sax, and then you see Jack's face, that is like, honestly, I could die. I'd be happy dying at that moment. It's just it's amazing.
Mate, I'm telling you, like that'd just be one thing that I always bring back to like that kind of thing, like touring and stuff. So that one band, as soon as you hear that song, you're like, yeah. Me and Roman used to like listen to these all the time, jam these out all the time. Like it's mad stuff.
Like, thanks for the credit, but I would say like when we were touring, Jack would put loads of stuff my way, and I'd learn all these new bands and be like, God, that's filthy. But it was nice to give something back. I was surprised you hadn't heard them, but if there's any viewers that haven't heard them,
this, mate, we haven't been on the road in ages, and I got loads of new stuff that I got to share with you. Actually, I should actually share that. Because in I think not the next episode, but in the one after that, I think we're going to do like a kind of review on songs, aren't we? We're going to like review some like music. Do you know what I mean? Like ones we like. So I actually might,
that's the plan.
I might bring that into that. I think some of the new stuff that I haven't showed you that I think you might like, because
and then I can give it, if I haven't heard it, which I probably haven't. It'd be an organic reaction then.
Exactly, and I think that'd be quite cool. So yeah, no, definitely. Like, mate, there's such good times.
It was. I'll miss it. I really do.
When live shows come back, hopefully we can do it again.
Reconvening.
Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
And before, while we're on that, sorry, Jack.
Go on.
I'm gonna put you on a pedestal. You said it earlier. Like, I've played with a lot of drummers, musicians, or what have you, but like Jack has got the mindset that it takes. Like, no joke, he is hard working, he's dedicated, and in my mind as a player, like, I know he's gonna bring it. Like, and that's the truth. No, honestly, Jack. No, honestly, like, if you said like, oh, I'll be at the rehearsal room at like 2, you'd be there. Like, if you said, I'll lay that down and send it to you for it, like, you're just a reliable guy, and that's what it takes. And
I think that's because
the pleasure.
Yeah, I think that's because I have like I think I kind of put in my mind, it's like, I suppose it puts a bit of pressure on me when someone says, oh, I need this done, or can you do this for me? Because
you take it seriously.
I then take it when people are telling me to do something. I'm like, wow, now I've got to find a time in my like schedule to kind of get a chance to do that. But because it's music and that's what I love to do, and it's doing something that's going to benefit me, I will make time, even if I have to cancel something or push something back. I'll do it because I have to because it's important that, like we were saying earlier about the appreciation when people comment on your videos. You know, like when people like you get an inspiration from it.
Oh,
I think the
brilliant.
inspiration I get I think the inspiration I get to get creative is when someone politely asks me to do something for them or to benefit both of us, or something that will create and I think I get a drive from that. So I go, oh, I've got to do my best. I've got to nail this. I've got to do it. Do you know what I mean? I've got to put my 110% into this. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, because then it's like there's an audience there.
Exactly.
Like the spotlight's on you.
Exactly. And then the spotlight, and then the pressure, and then it makes you do it. And it makes you do the top best quality job you can do. And then when you send it or you give it or whatever you do with it, the reaction from the person that's asked you to do it is the best thing in itself, because that's what fuels you to go and do it again and take on more work. And as players yourself, for sure, you know, but if you're looking to, like, that's the sort of thing you want to get into, like, is doing, you know, work, like people kind of asking you to join in sessions, or, you know, like, I need you to record 5 tracks for me, and stuff like that, you know, kind of, you know, don't put the pressure on yourself like it has to be done ASAP. You know, if you're to a schedule, then that's understandable, but you need to space your time. You need to define your time and really like
be realistic about it.
Yeah, you got to take appreciation for it's your work you're putting out there. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're putting that somehow that what you do on that thing is going to be put out into the world somewhere for people to view or hear. Yeah. So you don't want to be putting out some sloppy work. You don't want to just go, oh, I didn't have enough time. I literally spent like 2 hours and I smashed out all 5 tracks in 2 hours. I was sweating my socks off, but it's best I could do. It's like, well, okay, but then if you do that, you'll listen to it back in however many weeks' time, or when it goes live, and go, I wish I'd done this. I wish I'd spent more time doing that.
Yeah.
I wish I'd done this. I don't want to be doing.
It's done.
I don't want to be doing that. I don't want to be going back on it. I want to go, what I have put out there is my top best quality. You know what I mean? And that's what you get. If you don't want it, fine. I'm not going to take offense. You know what I mean? Because, you know, at least I've tried. You know what I mean? But, you know, having that,
at least you know.
Yeah, at least I know that I've done my ultimate best. But yeah, I think, like, time yourself appropriately and really, really kind of like, yeah, like, but like I said, like you just said, like, you crediting me, saying how, like, you know, on form I am and driven, and, You know, like, you know, I respect that kind of thing. You know, I get it a lot. People saying stuff like to me, and like I think their natural reactions to me to go, oh yeah, no, I know I'm good, yeah, no, kind of thing like that, you know, like I'm doggy's bollocks, you know what I mean, like everyone, you know what I mean, but I ain't like that.
You actually appreciate
I
it,
don't like,
genuinely.
I don't want to walk around going, yeah, and I know I can do that. Do you know what I mean? Because I know that I can't do a lot of things. Do you know what I mean? And I'm quite grateful that I can do certain things. But the appreciation people, I actually take that quite to heart. Do you know what I mean? You know, when people say to me, like, mate, you're wicked at what you do, or that sounds wicked, man. Like, that makes me feel good. That makes me, like, on a personal level, not on a music level, on a personal level, makes me feel like that all the effort I put in over the years building a career and is paying off, because people are enjoying what I'm producing and my creativeness, like my creative process, I should say. Do you know what I mean? So I appreciate that, sir. Thank you very much for praising me, brother. Praising me there. But yeah, I don't know. Is there anything like you want to talk about a little bit further? Because I feel like we kind of like talked a little bit.
I think we've covered a good amount for this episode. I'm not sure what the time is, because we've got commitments in our schedule, so we are sort of watching the time. But I know we've got an announcement to do. I don't know if we want to jump on that now.
I know
you're excited about that.
I think so. You know what? I'll let you say it. I'll let you say it. I'll let you. No. You say it, because you're the one. You're the one. I'll let you do it. Right. So guys, this is our announcement. We've been waiting a while to say this to you, but Rowan, please take the stage.
It's exciting stuff, isn't it? So obviously this is episode 3 of the Groove Session Show. Episode 4 is coming up next, and we've got our first guest coming on. And he's a very talented guy. He's a session bass player, songwriter, singer. His name's Nick Diorio. He's out of LA, or the LA area. I don't want to offend him, but yeah, LA.
We'll find it.
We'll find out. when you're over, when you're over here, you say London, don't you?
But, or Wales or Scotland or something. But he's from LA,
exactly.
California, LA.
he's an LA man, I believe. We're super pumped to learn more about his career. But he's just to kind of reel you in, because you're going to want to watch this episode. He's recently played with Doja Cat.
If you're I'm a big fan. Big fan of Doja Cat.
Same there.
Big fan.
I love Doja.
I think her, like, she's like the next big thing, you know. She's wicked. Like, so I think to be able to talk to him about that sort of stuff will be
get his perspective on working with her.
Yeah.
And he's a guy that's he's done some great stuff, some pro stuff, like he's been in the arenas, like supporting Jonas Brothers, and he's got his own project.
Big time. Mate, it's going to be great. Like, we won't give away too much, because we're going to do it in the next episode, and we'll tell you, we're going to ask him loads of questions that are like will benefit not only us as like people that are interested, but also the viewers, yourself, like for things like that. But yeah, it's going to be I think it's going to be a wicked interview. I think it's going to be quality.
I mean, what a guest to open with. Do you know what I mean?
To be fair, First guest at the Groove Session Show, mate, Nick. We look forward to having the pleasure to chat with you. And I think everybody, you should definitely check out episode 4 coming soon, because it's going to be a wicked chat. It is going to be a wicked chat.
Don't miss it. Episode 4, Nick Diorio.
That's the one. We'll catch you later in episode 4. Have a lovely rest of your day, evening, whatever you're doing, and keep on grooving.
Keep on grooving. I like that. Much love, everyone.
Much love.
Take care.
See ya.